question?
See, the earliest model for planetary motions was proposed by Ptolemy about 2000 years ago, and that model was geocentric model. So in the geocentric model, it was assumed that all the celestial objects like stars, sun, planets, they all revolve around the sun. So it is assumed that Earth is at the center and the planets or even the sun and stars they revolved around the earth. So earth was at the center, geocentric. So geo means earth at the center. Okay, but this is of no use for us. Now came the Copernicus. Even Aryabhat in 5 AD he proposed this heliocentric model in 500 AD by Aryabhat, Indian. That was a big discovery, but it was only when Copernicus proposed this model, heliocentric model, in which planets moves. So now the model that we are studying, that is heliocentric, sun is at the center and all other celestial objects, stars and all the planets, they revolve around the sun. So Copernicus proposed this heliocentric model in which planets moves around in circles around a fixed central sun. So this is just like atomic theory, you can say. Okay, and then this theory was further missed. So here the geocentric model was discarded and new beginning by Copernicus. Although the authorities at that point of time, especially the religious authority church, they didn't accepted it, but his one of the pupils, Galileo, who worked under Copernicus, he supported the theory of Copernicus, and that is why Galileo was even jailed for that, and he died in isolation. But still Galileo is the father of modern science. We call Galileo as father of modern science. Okay, after that then Tycho Brahe, he recorded the so simultaneously at the same time when the Galileo was there, Tycho Brahe was also at the same time, and he recorded his observations. Just like Copernicus recorded his observations, he also recorded his observation with naked eye, and he compiled the data. So similarly here Copernicus, he proposed that yes, this can be possible, and he compiled his data, which was later. So he was assisted. So just like Copernicus was assisted by Galileo, so Tycho Brahe was assisted. His assistant was Kepler. So Kepler extract the data, and he proposed three laws that are Kepler laws. Okay, so this is GK for you. First theory proposed, geocentric, then heliocentric by Copernicus. So just like Copernicus, his pupil was Galileo. Tycho Brahe, his assistant was Kepler. So Copernicus and Brahe, they worked, and their pupils Galileo and Kepler, they supported. And then Kepler comes out with laws. He didn't give the derivations of the laws. Okay, he just proposed the laws with the observations. By the recorded observations of Brahe, on the basis of that data, he gave the Kepler laws. So one difference here is that here he proposed that the planets moved in circles. Okay, but here he proposed that the means in laws, in the even first law, he told that instead of circle, ellipse. Okay, so the planets, the earth they all revolves around the sun, not in circle, but it's in its ellipse. The path is elliptical. So that theory was, you can say that it was modified. So elliptical. So instead of circles, no, not circle but elliptical. That was proposed in the Kepler's laws. Okay. So now what are these Kepler laws? So now you can open your book, page 184. Page 184 NCRT. So here we have the law of orbits, which says that all planets, they move in the elliptical orbits, and the sun is situated at one of the foci of the ellipse. So students, this is the figure 1.8a, 8.1a in your book. This is the ellipse. Okay. And in figure B, they have told you how to make this ellipse, how to draw the ellipse. Okay. So you can draw. So it has. So suppose you have a string, and this is your string, and these are the these 2 points are fixed, F1 and F2 of the string. So these 2 points are the string sets fixed at these two ends, and you have a pencil over here. Okay. You have a pencil over here, and when you will move this pencil around, so you'll get this ellipse. So that's how you can draw the ellipse. And now, so as you know that circle has one center, okay, but instead of center here, so because how do you draw a circle? You have a string, and that string is fixed at the center, and this is your pencil. So just move the pencil around, so you get the circle. But here so instead of one center, here we have two focus 1 and focus 2. Center is also a focus of all the points which are equidistant from this point. So here we have focus and plural of focus is foci. So how do we pronounce it? Foci. Okay, foci. So that's the plural. So we have so sun is situated at one of the foci. So sun is here. Okay, there is nothing over here. So sun is situated. So this is the thing. So this is what he proposed. Law of the orbit, that all the planets moved in elliptical orbits with the sun situated at one of the foci. So this is your first law. Okay. Now some property of this ellipse. So we have two axes. One is this major axis. So joining the two, so this is major axis joining the two foci, this line segment, and then perpendicular to it, from the middle of these two foci, we have minor axis. So this is minor axis. So we have two foci. And what about this length? This we call semi-major axis. Of course, this major axis, this half of it, just like semi-major axis. And similarly, like this one half of the minor axis is semi-minor axis. Okay. So this is semi-minor axis, this semi-major axis. Now another important points are 2 points, like this is point P, this is point P, where the closest point to the sun on this path is P, and we call this point P, this point P, this is this point P, this is the point P, and we call this and the farthest point is A. This is the farthest point from the sun. Okay, so this P is perihelion, and this point A is aphelion. Okay, and the semi-major axis is half the distance AP. So semi-major axis is of course half of AP. So that's what. So this is your P, this is your A. So semi-major axis means this distance is half of P. Of course it is half of P. So half of P this side, half of P this side. So that's the law of orbits. Sun at one of the foci and the planets move in elliptical orbits. Now second, law of area. What is this law of area? See, sun might be at any position. Suppose sun is at this position. This is the position of the sun. Good. Now sun is moving, Earth or any planet is at this position. Students, you should participate. All of you are listening to me? Okay. Some of the time there is a lot of slip of tongue from my side. So please help me out. Whenever I am wrong, help me out. So the planet is over here, just like your Earth. So it is moving this direction. So after some time it will reach here, this planet. So this area swept by this line which is joining the sun and the planet, this is the line, and this line has reached here, the sun and the planet. So this area, definitely this area, let us assume, is delta A, and small area, and the time taken is delta t. Now at some point of time the Earth will reach here also. Okay, so this keep on rotating, the Earth will reach here, and this will be your line that join the Earth and the sun, and then again this line will again sweeping the area, and suppose it has reached here. So okay, so from here to here the Earth has reached here. So this is the area. Same time, this is delta t. So suppose this is it might be 1 month. So here also this time is also 1 month, students. Time is same. So when you will find the areas, these two areas, you will find that these areas are same. That is Kepler's second law, that equal areas are swept in equal time. The line that joins any planet, so the line that joins any planet to the sun, that line sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. So equal area in equal interval of time. Okay, so of course you can see that why how it has happened. See, Kepler didn't give any derivation for that. He just from the observation, he observed that the planets appear to move slower when they are farther from the sun than when they are near. So this can, of course, this is possible when the sun will appear slow here, because here this much distance on the elliptical path is traveled, here this distance is less. So here the planet was slower. So this path is because slow, but this area, because there is so much distance away from the sun, so that is why here the height is more of the triangle, So these two triangles, you can assume that these two areas, these are the triangles actually. So this is one triangle, this is the height and the base, so base and height. Okay, and here this triangle. Okay, so this is base and this is height. So here this height is this h dash b dash. So of course here base is increased, so base is increased, but the height is reduced here. Okay, so base here, this is means the covered by the this is the distance covered by, so obviously here the velocity is v, and here this more distance is traveled, v dash. So of course v dash is greater than v. So here faster, more distance is traveled, here slower. So that's the figure over here also. So sun here the moving slow, and here when the sun is away, means when the planet is away, so here the planet is moving slower, and here the planet is moving far. Sorry, of course here this much distance is traveled by the planet, so of course the greater distance in the same time delta t, here also the same time delta t, but here the distance covered is more, so of course there is the linear velocity is more, so more velocity here, so velocity is more, so the planets move faster here, and here this distance is lesser, so planets movement is slow here. Okay, so planets appear to move slower when they are farther from the sun than when they are near to the sun. Okay, so the area swept by the planets of mass m, so let us assume that this planet has mass m. See, this is Kepler's law, this is the derivation which is given later. Okay, derivation was given later by, not by Kepler but by other scientists. Okay, so Kepler law is only up to here, this is the observation by the Kepler. This derivation of this law of area is given later. Okay, so don't consider it as, so this is not the part of Kepler's law, this thing, this derivation. Okay, but how is it derived? So let us assume the mass of the planet is m, and in delta t time it has swept this area delta a, so delta a in time delta t. Okay, so here also same area in time delta t. So I told you students that we can consider this area vector also. Area is a scalar quantity till now, but here area is considered as vector. Yes, we can consider it as vector. Okay, so it has two directions. So students, Sakshi, switch off your mic. So the area has, what is the direction of the area? See, just like means the direction of area is perpendicular to it, perpendicular to the area, so either coming out of the plane or either going into the plane. So these are the two directions of the area. Okay, so here what is the direction of area? That is so it's so area is equals to this half into base into height. So this height is your position vector r, so this height is your r, so r is this is the position vector from sun to earth or any planet you have here. So this is the position vector r, right? So this is the position vector r, and this much is the length of that r. Okay, now what is this distance? So distance is equals to we are taking small distance because we know that the velocity is changing. So small time we are taking in small time delta t. So this d is equals to, let us assume that for some time, for very little time, this delta t even tends to 0 if you want more exactness. So let us assume that for time delta t this velocity is constant. So what is the distance traveled? So distance traveled will be this speed v into time. So speed into time is the distance traveled. So this distance is actually this base is v delta t. So that's the formula, means half into base into height. So this is your height. So height is your distance that is given by speed into time. So here r cross v, so that's the cross product where here it is vector. So of course you need to have a this position vector and v is cross product. And what is the direction? So you can see that r cross v. So this is the direction of r here. This is r. So this is the direction of r, and this is the direction of v. So r cross v, put your fingers on r and cross them towards v. So the direction of the area vector is coming out of the plane of the paper. So how do we show it? A circle in the middle. So arrow is coming out. So you will see the tip of the arrow. Yes, got it? Now let us bring this delta t this side, because we need to tell that this delta a by delta t is constant. So this delta a by delta t is constant. This is what we need to prove. So we have to bring delta t this side. So delta a by delta t is equals to half into r cross p. So we have multiplied and divide this v by m. Okay, so this was your delta a. Delta a is equals to half into r cross v delta t, and now bring this delta t this side. So delta a by delta t is equals to half into r into v into m by m. This is what we have done. Okay, and then we got half into r cross p. So this mass into velocity is your momentum, linear momentum, and so divided by this whole divided by m. Okay, so this is what this equation. And what is r cross p? R cross p is equals to your angular momentum. So linear momentum is m cross v, and linear momentum is r cross p. So r cross p. So this area here, actually you have started how this area is equals to this. So from here, so you have started deliberately with area because you need area by delta t. Now why we are bringing p here and why we are bringing L? Because here we know that the force later on we find means that this is the central force, the force which is acting along the line joining the sun and the planet is the gravitational force, attractive force. You can see the direction. This planet is attracted towards the sun, means the sun is pulling this planet towards itself. So these forces are known as central forces. So the force on the planet is along the vector joining the sun and the planet. that is central force. So the angle so here in this central force you can see that this is the direction of R and this is the direction of F. So the direction between R and F, the angle is 180 degree. So the when angle is 180 degree, you know that torque is equals to R cross F, and when the angle is 180 degree, so this will be 0. And we know that the angular momentum dt by dl by dt is tau. So when, see students, these formulas are so simple, those who are attending it first time. So this tau is the rotational part of force, like force is equal by dt. So same is the case here, that this force is the torque and this L is the rotational counterpart of linear momentum. This is angular momentum. So when this was 0, so then momentum was conserved when the external force is 0. So here also, when this torque is 0, this angular momentum is conserved. So we need to bring here angular momentum. So that is why we are doing this. So L by 2m, R cross P is L. So here in this case, in case of central forces, the angle between R and F is 180 degree or 0 degree. So either the in case of central forces, either the angle will be 0 or so like electrostatic force, if there are two opposite charges, it will be repelled. So there the angle between R and F will be 0 degree. So still the torque will be 0. So torque will be 0 if the angle is 0 or 180, because sine 0 and sine 180 is 0. So hence the angular momentum is conserved and remains constant. So L is constant, 2 is constant, m is constant. So this whole is constant. So it means delta A by delta T is constant. And that's the law of areas, that equal area is swept in equal amount of time. Now the third law is the law of periods. The square of the time period of the revolution of a planet is proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of the ellipse traced out by the planet. So this is your planet, this is where your sun is, and your planet is over here, and this is the length of semi-major axis. So this is the minor axis, and from here, so semi-major axis is, so semi-major axis definition P, and this is a point A, perihelion, ephelion, join them, and half of this distance is your this distance. So this distance is your semi-major. So let us assume this distance as A. Okay, and what is the time period for one time period of revolution for the planet? Means moving around and came back here. So that is time period, capital T, time period for one revolution. If the length of semi-major axis is A and the time period of revolution is T, then this law says that T square is directly proportional to A cube. Okay, and we can say that T square is equals to some constant of proportionality into A cube. So it means T cube upon A cube is so A cube will come this side, T cube upon A cube is constant. So that is the law of periods. Okay, any doubts, students? So when in exam comes 3 laws of Kepler, so you need to tell this statement, you need to tell this statement, and you need to tell this statement. If it is asked that derive this, prove the law of areas, then only you will do this derivation. Okay, so this derivation is not given by Kepler, I am again telling you. Okay, now So the same thing that I have discussed with you, this central forces, the concept of central, student, this is very important. So this is even given in your book also separately, the central forces, so you can read it out. This is the same thing that we have discussed, that the angular momentum of the particle is conserved if the torque vanishes, means if the torque is zero. Okay, so this torque can be zero, so this torque is equals to r cross f. So how can this torque be zero? So the magnitude of torque is r into f into sine theta. So this torque can be zero if r is equals to 0, or if f is equals to 0, or if theta is equals to 0 degree or 180 degree. So these are the 4 conditions that make the torque 0. So miss so these are the conditions. And when torque is 0, so dl by dt, so this l, you can write this small l. So capital L is for the system and small l is for the one, means body we are talking about, one particle we are talking about, single particle. So this small l, and for the whole body it's capital L. Okay, so this r cross f is your tau. So when this tau is equals to 0 due to any of these 4 reasons, so this L will be constant. Of course, the derivative of constant is so like d by of 2 is 0. Okay, if it is variable over here like t square, so then it will not be 0, it is 2t into d 2t. Okay, and if it is suppose dx square by dt, then it will be 2x into dx by dt. So if it is a variable over here, so derivative is not going to be 0. So derivative is only 0 if you have, like here, if you are finding the derivative of a constant. Why? Because here y is equals to 2, so that's your y is equals to 2. This is the line you are taking. So tell me, what is the slope of this line? Y is equals to -3, that's the line. Y is equals to -3, this is your origin, suppose. So this line, so any you are putting, so this line has slope 0. So you can see this is horizontal line, so horizontal line has no slope, so the slope is 0. So that is why slope of a constant is 0. So this derivative is nothing but I am finding the slope of the curve or line at that particular point. Okay students, I hope, and then you can study this discussion. And this point 2 is your, that when there is central force, whenever there is central force, the angular momentum is always conserved, and the motion of the particle in the center force is confined to that plane. So it is not going to go out of the plane of the ellipse, it will remain in that plane only, the plane of the ellipse. And the position vector of the particle with respect to the central force, that is it has a constant aerial velocity. So what does this mean? It means that the position vector sweeps equal area in equal amount of time as the particle moves under the influence of central force. So this aerial velocity is given by this formula. Okay, so there is a figure over there, you can calculate it. That's not the that will not be in the exams, but that's for your interest. Those who are interested, they can do it. Okay, now let us come to example 8.1. So we have the let the speed of the planet at perihelion and aphelion. So speeds are given to us. So speed of the planet at perihelion will be Vp, and the sun planet distance Sp. So this distance is your Rp. Okay, this distance is your Rp, and the velocity of the planet here is Vp. Similarly, the velocity here at aphelion is Va, and this distance from sun to A, this distance is given as R A. Okay, now relate these two quantities with these two quantities. Okay, so that's A part of the question, and then we have B part also. So let us do the A part. Let us find the relation between them. So the magnitude of the angular momentum L, we have just studied that L is equals to R cross P. So what will be the magnitude of so magnitude is RP sine theta. Students, I told you earlier also that when I'm starting the formula L is equals to RP, it means it is common sense that this theta is equals to 90 degree. So I have discussed it yesterday also. That's very important discussion. Where shall I start with? So in physics, if the angle is 90 degree and you are writing only the magnitude, start with this. So that's why in book you will start that directly this is written. Okay, so because theta is 90 degree, so when this is written and this is vector and this is vector and this vector, so obviously this is cross product and the angle is 90 degree. So this is what you need to you can verify at any point of time. And whenever the like force this is the formula, F is equal, work done is equal to F. So you will say this formula is no, this formula is correct, because here it is if I am writing this formula, it means that theta is 0 degree here, because that is a dot product. So F is equal, so if I am starting with this formula, that's not wrong, because theta is 0. So that's what I am telling you. So I am giving you this information. I am giving you this information that theta is 0. And here means this is the general formula. So I can start from here, and if theta is equals to 0, then I need not to start from here. I will directly start from here. So if theta is equals to 90 degree here, I will directly start with the magnitude from this formula in physics. Okay, so just I hope you have understood this. So this L is equals to R cross P, because the angle between R and P here is 90 degree. You can see that this is the radius and this is the velocity. So the angle between the radius, because this P, where is the direction of this momentum? So R is M into V. So the angle between R and V, you can see that this is the angle R. So this is R, the position vector, and this is V. So angle between R and V is 90 degree. Okay, so this is the direction of V. So R and V, the angle is 90 degree. Okay, students. One more thing, if I am discussing it over here, that P, the direction of P is the direction of V, but this is not the case of angular velocity. So it is not necessary that that direction of angular momentum will be the direction of angular velocity. No, this is not all the time. Okay, this can be at some of the time, but not all the time. But here, yes, this will be all the time. Why it is not all the time? Because we have done this in the last chapter, but that's just for your remembrance, I'm telling you. But here, because the formula is P is equals to mv, so both positive, m is scalar, so that is why P and V will be in the same direction. So L is equals to Rp, and what is P? P is mb, so L is equals to Rmb. Okay, so Lp at so here Lp is equals to R into P, and P is m, so mass of the planet, into V. So Rp and Vp. Okay, so we have got both the variables over here, and m is the mass of the planet. So similarly for La, we will be writing, so La at aphelion, the angular momentum will be angular momentum of the planet will be mp, so mass of the planet, so that's the same mass of the planet, right? So we need not to write it mp, we can only write m. So into so start with R, even we can start with R, so Ra into m into Va. Okay, so that's momentum at A, aphelion, momentum at perihelion. So these are all so you can write them capital P, in fact capital P point. Okay, so as the momentum is conserved, we know, because this is the central force, so because central force, so whole discussion that we did, so Lp is equals to La. So writing them out, and mass is same, so cancelling out. So we got this, and here you can see that we know that Ra, this is given to us, this thing is given, right? We can see this. So if this is given, if Ra is greater and Rp is lesser, but both of them are equal, so obviously, so Vp is greater and Va is lesser. So that's the corresponding quantity, the relation between them. Now the second part, will the planet take equal time to traverse B8c and CPB? So here what I am taking, this is C over here, so C BAC and CPB, so this is C and this is P over here and A over here, right, and B over here. So this area BAC, so this area, this curve, this area, this curve I'm talking about, BAC. So will the planet take equal time to traverse this? So planet is traversing this. So so now we will be using here Kepler's second law. So this is the area traveled by it, and what about this remaining area is the, so this is the area traversed, so this is the area swept by this arm, and when the sun was in when the earth was in, or the planet was in motion from here to here, and when the planet was here, so from here when it was moving this side, so here it was moving this side, so this side to this, so this is the area swept by this line joining the planet and the sun. Now here what will be the area? This. So the question is that will the time be same? Will the this time and this time, will the time be same? So you can see that this area is larger, so equal area is swept in equal amount of time. So here you can see that area swept this area, this is delta A, this is area A, we can't say delta A, this is area A, and this area is A dash. So you can clearly see that this area is, of course this is greater than half of the total area. So this A is greater than A dash. Yes, this area A on this side, on the side of BAC, this area on the side of BAC, when the planet was traversing BAC, CAB or BAC, whatever you say, is greater than the area when it was moving from BPC. So this area is greater. So of course if area is greater, so time will also be greater. Okay, so more time. So will the time be equal? No, time cannot be equal, because according to Kepler's second law, equal area swept in equal amount of time. So greater area, so greater time will be taken. So greater time this side. So greater area, greater time. Smaller area this side, small time, less time. So it does not depends on the length. Length traversed is equal, but here the area swept by the line joining the planet and the sun, this area swept is greater, so greater time. Okay, so here equal area swept, equal time. Is this okay, students? And you can further see the videos if there is any problem. Now Newton proposed the law of gravitation. So that's the law of gravitation. So Newton's law of gravitation says that if we have the force on, so we have two masses m1 and m2. So these are the position vector of mass m1 by position vector r1 it is told, and m2 position vector r2, and this is the position I am telling from m2. So you can see that this means by triangular law also you can see that this, if I'm starting from this point, this and then this, so R1, so clearly R1 plus R is equals to R2. Students, many a time I have discussed, this is just like you can say displacement also, and this R will be equals to R1 R2 minus R1. Okay, so this is what this R is many a times. So now I think you are comfortable with it. So this F, so this is the Newton's law, that force on point M2 due to another point mass M1, they have the magnitude. So that's the magnitude of the force G M1 M2. So directly proportional to mass is inversely proportional, studied in 9th class also. But what is the direction? So direction of this force, you can see that as this is attractive force, so this M2, so this force on mass M2, so on mass M2 I am studying. So where M2 will be, so M2 will be so will definitely be pulled toward this side. So this is the direction of the force. So direction, so this is the direction of R. Direction of R is this side. So this is negative R cap direction. Okay, because R is this side, but this M2 is attracted. So the force on M2 is this side. Okay. So that's how it is written over here in your NCERT, and that's this negative will come out, and that's how we write it. So students, very important, two ways how to write it. So in fact 3 ways. This way, first way you can write it like this. Second way, bring the negative outside. So so it is telling you, if the negative is here, so this vector and this vector, it means both the vectors are in opposite direction. If the sign is positive here, it means they are in same direction. So it means force is on this side and position vector is on this side. Now how shall I write this? Because this position, this unit vector can be written as see, how do we write a vector? Vector is equals to its magnitude and multiplied by the direction with the unit vector. This is how we write. So how can we write a unit vector? So unit vector is equals to vector divided by its magnitude. Okay, so we can write magnitude by this. So put this value over here, and you will get here means this R cap. So this is R vector. So students, this is mistake here, it should be R vector. So that's the printing mistake. You can correct it, because when you will put the value, so instead of R cap, here you will have this vector R. Okay, so putting the value over here, this value of R cap over here, this we will get this vector upon. Students, whatever we are discussing right now, you will have the same thing in class 12 also. So I was telling you many times that the same thing will be repeated in class 12. So if you have understood these things in class 11, class 12 will be far easier for you. So see the way of writing. Here we are putting writing it in the form of unit vector. Here I am writing it in the form of position vector. So this position vector will come here. So of course this is minus G into M1 into M2 upon R square into this is put this value over here. So that's our unit vector is equals to this. So put this value over here and you get this thing. So that's you get here R cube. That is why magnitude of R cube. Okay. So correct this here arrow will come instead of this unit vector. So correct this in your book. So this what is written over here. So gravitational force is attractive. So the force on F12 is equal to F21. So the direction will be opposite, magnitude will be same. So what is the direction? So M1 will be on this side along with the vector R, right? So but these forces will be equal and opposite. So F12 is equals to minus F21. So this negative sign is telling me that the magnitude both are equal. So magnitudes are equal, but the direction are opposite. Now let us see this figure 8.4. So now we studied the case of two masses, here we are studying what if the mass is more than 2. So not m1 and m2, but we have here m3 and m4 also. So all of them will definitely be so what is the total force on m1? So total force on m1 is so this is f1, total force on f1. So f1, so force on f1 due to 2 plus force on 1 due to 3 plus force on 1 due to 4. So this we call superposition principle. So we are adding them using superposition principle. So this is very important, students. It will come again and again in physics. So we are telling you the ABCD of physics, the tools to study physics. So don't think that this is for 11th class. No, these tools are forever. So what is this superposition principle? Superposition principle say that F12 is not affected by other forces like F23 or F24. So F1 is not going to be affected by any other forces present over there. So that is why so that's the superposition principle, that the force between two masses is not going to be affected by the other forces available over there. And by superposition principle we can so force on 1 is due to force on 1 due to 2, force on 1 due to 3, and force on mass 1 m1 due to m4. So we can so they are independent and we can add them independently. So that's the superposition principle. Okay, so putting the value of, so what is F12? So this is F12. So this is the so what is the direction of F12? Force on 1 due to 2. So definitely this side m1 is pulled by m2. So here m1 is pulled by, so this is the direction of F3. You can see this is the direction of F12 and this is the direction. So m1 is pulled on 3 sides. So m1 is pulled this way, m1 is pulled by m3 also, m1 is pulled by m4 also. So m1 is pulled by m2, m3 and m4. So let us now we will be writing what is the value of F12. F12 is G m1 m2 upon R21 and with the position vector R21. So this is we are, so R21 means we are reaching 2 from 1. So this is the relative position. Okay, so like here I have origin. So this is R2, this is R2 and this is R1 and this is R21. So that's equals to R2 minus R1. We have just discussed it earlier, right? So this is the case, students. So I'm not writing it from origin and this. So there are 2 ways to reach this, to locate this point m2. So 2 ways. One is from origin R2 and another is from m1. So that's the relative position. So whenever there is relative position, we have studied relative velocity also, right? So same way here, relative position. So position of R2 with respect to R1. Okay, so instead of origin we can tell it like this way also. So I hope this is clear to you. So that's R21. So R21 so that's the this R21, this direction. So R21 and F12 they are in same direction. So that is why here this sign is positive. Similarly for this, and like for M3, so this is the direction of F13. Now what is R31? So R31, this vector is reaching 3. So this is the position vector, position of 3 with respect to 1. Okay, so if there was only R3, then position of 3 with respect to origin. So that's what's the difference. And this is equals to R3 minus R1. So position of R3 you are telling with respect to R1. So here also you are telling the position of R3 with respect to origin. So obviously this is 0. Okay, so that's remain only R3. Same is the case with relative velocity. When you are telling the relative velocity of second with respect to first, or velocity of 2 with respect to 1, but when you are writing only velocity 2, that is with respect to the ground. So either write it, so that is v2 minus vg. So velocity of ground is 0, so that is cancel out. So that is why when we write velocity of 2, that means the velocity with respect to the ground. So same is the concept here. So velocity with respect to so the position with respect to the origin, and here the position with respect to mass 1. So I hope students you have understood this concept. So reaching 3 from first. Okay, so R31, so R31 and F13, they are in the same direction, so that is why unit vector. So this is the direction of unit vector, 1 unit in this direction, that is my R cap 31, unit vector in this direction, that is my R21, unit vector in this direction, that is towards 4, reaching 4 from 1 I cap. So this is R41 unit, R41 cap unit vector, and this length is your vector R41. Okay, so unit vector this much, and this vector R41 is this direction, that is of course R4 minus R1. So that's okay, students. So I hope you have understood this, and so tomorrow we will do proceed further with example 8.2. So you have afternoon or evening class, students. I will tell you the timings. So thank you so much for being with me. Don't